What's going on, everybody? We're back again. Another episode of Coffee Talks, where I am curating some of my favorite coffee roasters and leadership talks from some of my favorite people. Today, we brewed up some Feast Coffee and Culture. It's a company out of Redding, California. Man, the branding is wonderful with this roaster. I love it, and I love what they're doing. I got another Ethiopian here. And it is such a killer coffee, but I'm going to be honest with you. You got to really kind of dig for the flavors on this one. It's subtle, it's gentle, it's not funky, punchy in the face coffee at all, but it's really good. If you kind of read about it, they kind of talk about how the aromas are very florally. I actually don't get that. I get a plum, almost like a jam. You got to kind of search for it, but that's where it's at when you're actually brewing it and roasting it. But the coffee itself, I do get a little bit of that back end of a little bit of florals with a little bit of that fruit flavor. It's a really good coffee. Highly recommend it. Loving some Feast Coffee. And again, I love their branding. All right, guys, we're back in it with Dale again. How to win or influence people and win friends. How do you do this? How do you have a authentic connection with people? And here's what I want you to get. Today, we're going to talk about something that's going to be really, really difficult. I know last week we talked about a really difficult situation. This is even more difficult. Watch this. You got to admit you're wrong. Oh, that's hard, right? And I know, come on, we're like, well, duh, yeah, because we like other people to admit they're wrong, right? Like, we love it when someone else admits they're wrong, but it is really hard to admit you're wrong. It's really hard to actually take away your pride and humble yourself so that you can actually connect with someone. But here's what you got to understand. We're so scared of admitting we're wrong because we're scared of what the repercussions will be. If I say I'm wrong, if they know I failed, if they know I messed up, if they know I did something I wasn't supposed to, it's going to destroy everything. It's going to mess with everything. But here's what you need to understand. It's easier when you come forward first. It's easier actually when you actually admit your fault. It's a lot better for you to come and really kind of almost self-criticize yourself and say, hey, I messed up this way, than it is to have someone else come in and saying, you did this and you did that and you did that. Like, that doesn't feel good. I would rather, if we're being honest, admit where I made a mistake. Explain how you messed up. Explain where you fall short. Don't justify it. Don't try to act like, well, this is why, or this is what happened. No, you explain why. Because here's what's going to happen. If you can do that with a genuine heart, you know what's going to happen? They're going to be generous with you. Most of the time, they'll end up forgiving you. Most of the time, they'll end up helping you towards that resolution with that relationship because they're going to be open to that instead of resisting it. If you're justifying it or not admitting to it, guess what's going to happen? You're going to cause distance. I'm talking about in your marriage. I'm talking about with your coworkers. I'm talking about with your friends. Can you imagine what would happen if you could learn the art of admitting you were wrong? Because here's what happens on the opposite side. When you don't, they get more frustrated. When you don't, they trust you less. When you don't, now there's this tension and disconnection, and there's no resolution that takes place. And guess what happens? Slowly, those relationships drift apart. Marriages drift apart. Friendships apart. Coworkers, gotta move. That's why the Bible says so beautifully, pride goes before destruction. Haughty spirit before a fall. If you got a prideful mind, you're gonna destroy the things that matter the most. If you think you don't have to admit you're wrong and you gotta defend yourself and it's always everybody else's problem, you're gonna destroy the things that are the most important to you in life. And guess what? A haughty spirit. This person that doesn't think they have to ever, it's going to cause a lot of falling. You're going to stumble a lot. It takes a lot of courage to admit your mistakes. It takes a lot of courage to admit when you fall short. It takes a lot of courage to be the first. It's easy to admit you're wrong when you get found out. It's easy to admit you're wrong whenever all the evidence is stacked against you. It takes a lot of courage to know when you make a mistake and be the first one to go with a gentle, generous heart. Listen to me. A fool will always defend themselves. And most people are fools. A wise person knows that the relationship's more important than their pride. So listen to me. When we are right, Let's try to win people gently and tactfully, our way of thinking, right? So if they're wrong and we're right, we're not going to condemn them. We're not going to accuse them. We're not going to beat them up. We're going to have tact. We're going to have respect. But when we're wrong, we're going to have gentleness and humbleness, and we're going to come with a heart that wants resolution. And in doing so, we're going to build relationships. An old proverb says it so beautifully. By fighting, you never get enough. But by yielding, you get more than you expected. Listen to me. When you make a mistake, handle it quickly and handle it with enthusiasm. When you say, man, emphatically, I'm not trying to sweep things under the rug, I messed up. And you go to that person quickly, guess what's going to happen? You're going to come out better. Your relationship will come out stronger, and you'll have more authentic, meaningful relationships. And we need those for health. So let's think about when we make a mistake, let's let pride succeed. Let's let humbleness rise up. Let's have some good conversations and drink some great coffee together. Guys, until next time, love you. Pray God's peace.